No answer? No answer? I think we are bringing that up now because we have a draft document on the national land policy. So done. Need for governments at all levels to take seriously the management of our fixed assets, which represents very important resource for the delivery of his services and attainment of his objectives. Have we been able to do that? No answer. Have we been able to take land management issues seriously? That has to do with keeping government assets intact in attaining objectives and goals. Have we done that? No answer. Note the need for estate surveyor and valuer professionals to be part of the government to ensure efficient and effective management of his fixed assets. Has that been done, or has it been done? Note the need for the amendment and enactment of new laws, including the Land Use Act, that will stimulate real estate activities. Have we carried out the communique? Have we amended any new laws or enacted any new laws? You have done that in Ekiti. No. Yes, in Lagos. Are you taking notes? Use your left hand to eat while you use your right hand to confirm. Note the need for the government to make easy access to land and promote partnerships with private sector while encouraging mortgage institutions to provide finance at affordable rates. Note the need for coordinated housing support services and technical assistance programs to be provided by the government and CBN to ensure that PMIs recapitalize with a view to positioning them to finance transactions and provide long-term funding for developers and end users. Has that been carried out by each state of the Federation? Are we coordinating with the government and the CBN for the recapitalization of the PMIs in order that estate developers can have EDA loans and end users? Answer is no. Not the need for the CBN, Federal Mortgage Bank, NAIF, REDAN, and housing finance professional associations to work together and with the AUC to unbundle estate management courses such as housing finance, property market, land management, property investment, facility management, urban development and management, with a view to building capacity that will serve the housing sector effectively. Has it been done by institutions? Answer is no. Note the need for the creation of the National Real Estate Information Center and partnership with the National Population Commission in ensuring the collection of comprehensive, reliable, and relevant housing data. Yes. There is a National Housing Data Committee that has been set up by the ministry. And I can tell you, we are coordinating with the National Population Commission as we speak. Answer is yes. Note the need to assure the security of investment and government to strengthen its safety strategies, to guide against terrorism / banditry and other criminal activities that will render investments non-profitable. Have we done something in that respect? No. Note the need for the real estate investment sector to be prioritized in the fiscal budget of the government. Has it been done? Real estate investment as a priority of government at all tiers of government. Has it been done? Note the need for the synergy between the Ministry of Lands and other ministries such as Works, Transport, Environment, Budget and Planning, State governments, among others. Has it been done? Yes. Let's clap ourselves on that. Note the need for the economy to be diversified, to discourage over-dependence on oil with a view to strengthening the economy. Has it been done? Has it been done? Note the need to be deliberate, well-defined, and regular maintenance of existing infrastructure through appropriate policies and plans. Has it been done? Maintenance of government facilities within the state and at the federal level. Has it been done? Okay. Note the need for the Ministry of Housing to have a functional research and development unit. Has it been done? No. PRS. Is it yes or no? Note the need for strategic advocacy and sensitization that will encourage birth control, especially among low-income earners. Has the advocacy been carried out? Note the need for PPP mechanism that gives access to private sector finance. Has it been complied with? Need for PPP mechanism that give access to private sector finance. Yes or no? Undecided. Not the usual long-time contractual agreements of the PPPs that makes it susceptible to uncertainties which are difficult to manage. Are the PPP arrangements you have they been functioning very well?
Yes, sir.
Encourage the need for all states to key in and fully implement the legal framework for EMAS, NMRC in land ownership, titling, and property registration, and collaborate with stakeholders to develop a draft model mortgage and foreclosure laws. Has this been done? As the state develop a legal framework, I'm aware that the NMRC has been encouraging states to get involved with the EMAS for ease of titling. Has it been done? No. Not the need for partnership between the states, Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, the FHFL, the FHA, and other key stakeholders to stimulate the housing market and ensure affordability in the short, medium, and long term. Has there been synergy with the state government and the federal government? Has there been synergy with the state and the federal governments? Yes or no? And the last one here, the need for the resuscitation of the Standing Committee on resolving all pending land issues between Lagos State government and the federal government. No. We are still initiating the process with them. These were the communique that was arrived at last year in Lagos. So we have taken note of all that has transpired, and the minister will be duly informed of that which we have done and of that which we have not been able to do, and to be encouraged to get it done. Here, I rest my case. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Finally, our distinguished directors and participants. The communique is ready. In the last 2 days, yesterday and today, what we have deliberated here. So I would like to call on Mrs. Alice Valentino Bishop, Chairman, Conference Planning Committee, to present the communique. Attention, please. The communique is ready.
Yes, they're going to project it. They'll do it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not loud enough. Hello? I'm loud. I'm sure I'm loud enough. Okay. This is the communique of the 29th Conference of Directors of Lands in Federal and State Ministries, Departments and Agencies, held from Wednesday, 23rd October to Thursday, 24th October 2024 at Rockview Royal Hotel. The 29th edition of the Conference of Directors of Lands in the Federal and State Ministries, Departments and Agencies, organized by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, was held from Wednesday, 23rd October to Thursday, 24th October 2024 at Rockview Hotel. The theme of the conference was Equitable Land Stewardship, Challenges of Land Administration and its Impact on Climate Change and Community Rights. The main objective of the meeting was, 1, to carry out a peer review for the harmonization of land administration and management standards, practices, processes, and procedures in a quest for global best practices. 2, to cross-fertilize ideas among public sector land managers at the federal and state level of government. 3, to provide a platform for the review and adoption of compensation rates for crops and economic trees carried out by the National Technical Development Forum on Land Administration in the year 2024. 4, to discuss the intersections between land administration, equitable land use, and climate change mitigation. 5, to explore sustainable land stewardship, practices that align with global environmental goals and Nigeria's climate change commitments. 6, to propose strategies for improving the effectiveness of land governance and community engagement in the context of changing climate conditions. 7, to develop actionable recommendations for addressing the challenges of land degradation, deforestation, and other environmental impacts resulting from poor land management. The conference was attended by the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dengiwa, the Honorable Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Engineer Abdullahi T. Gwarzo, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Marcus O. Ogumbi, the Permanent Secretary GSO, represented by Director General Services, Directors of Lands from Federal and State Ministries, Departments and Agencies. Also present at the conference were Directors of Lands in the FCT, as well as representatives of Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria, Nigeria Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, World Bank, Department for International Development, DFID, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, RADAN, Presidential Implementation Committee on Alienation of Federal Government Landed Properties, PIC, Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company, NMRC, Mortgage Bankers Association of Nigeria, FBAM, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, and Federal Housing Authority, FHA, and media organizations. The Director, Lands and Housing Development, ESB Collins Alabi, delivered the welcome address, while the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Marcus O. Ogumbi, gave the opening remarks. Goodwill messages were delivered by the Permanent Secretary, GSO Dr. Nnamdi Morris Imbari, represented by Director General Services Alhaji Yusuf Idris Ibrahim. The Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, delivered the keynote address and formally declared the conference opened. A total of 13 papers were presented by resource persons, including the lead paper on equitable land stewardship, challenges of land administration and its impact on climate change and community rights. The list of papers presented by resource persons at the 29th Conference of the Directors of Lands and the Federal and State Ministries, Departments and Agencies is shown in the table below. So I just want to run through because it's in our program. For the papers that were presented, we have 12 papers that were presented. So I will go straight to the next point. Arising from the presentations, extensive discussions and deliberations, the following were arrived at. 1. Advocate for basic understanding of land stewardship, equity, community rights, and advocacy. To encourage the infusion of transparency and accountability in land management processes, particularly land administration systems that will help to attain sustainable land administration that is resilient to climate change. Then we have to encourage directors of lands in federal and state ministries, departments and agencies to serve more as stewards, not just agents. Encourage that acquisition of land be treated as a separate project of its own, instead of being estimated for as an integral part of a given project. Encourage synergy between the acquiring authority, who needs the land, and the state government, who has the custody of the land in trust for the citizens. Then encourage legal reforms that recognizes and protects women's land rights. 7. Encourage intervention in inheritance practices that deprive women of access by enacting laws that permit women to own, use, and manage land should be put in place. 8. Encourage advocacy and involvement of women in land administration and ownership. 9. Encourage use of technical tools that enable collection, analysis, monitoring, and review of land data with special attention to women. Example, the Land Administration Domain Model, LADM. 10. Encourage women to form cooperatives and provide extension services to provide their effectiveness, viability, and success. 11. Encourage adoption of systematic land titling and registration as it protects community rights and mitigates effects of climate change. 12. Encourage use of Global Navigation Satellite System, GNSS, rapid survey method for systematic land titling and representation. 13. Encourage electronic revenue collection system for land charges. Then next is to encourage all stakeholders to implement comprehensive automation of land registries and electronic mortgage asset registry system, EMARS, in Nigeria. Encourage that Constitution and Land Use Act can and should be applied concurrently in a matter that the Constitution is undermined by implementation of Land Use Act, Case Law Authority. Then encourage governments through the Federal Executive Council, FEC, to issue regulations for the implementation of Land Use Act. Then to encourage that in the long term, the Land Use Act should be separated from the Constitution. And next is to ensure adequate budgetary provisions for compensation payments. 19, ensure compensation is paid to project-affected persons before demolition. 20, maintain dual land tenure system and improve on land registration and record-keeping system. 21, note that rates for assessment of compensation are obsolete and should be totally overhauled. 22, note that rates for assessment of compensation should be reviewed regularly based on the stability of volatility in the economy. 23, note that the World Bank support through RAMP be focused on the rural participating states. This currently covers 13 states of Nigeria, 7 northern states, which includes Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Bauchi, Plateau, and Kwara, and 6 southern states, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Kogi, Ogun, Oyo, and Ondo. Then next we have note that the roadmap for technical assistance is currently being developed. When it is completed, the World Bank team will facilitate a meeting between the RAMP project team and the Department of Lands and Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Then note to effectively deliver the tasks required for the technical assistance, the Department of Lands and Housing will provide coordination to ensure the participation of state directors of lands in the development of procedures and data collection to be carried out in the 13 RAMP states. 26, note that land acquisition and security of title by registration are fundamental to the expansion of business and growth of the economy. 27, note that the automation of land registration and administration will improve the ease of doing business and reduce the overall cost of acquisition of property in Nigeria. 28, note that partnering with National Housing Data Initiative will provide springboard for land reform in Nigeria. 29, urge the setting up of conflict resolution mechanisms that are accessible to women. 30, urge directors of land in ministries, departments, and agencies to deploy best practices, contemporary digital technology for more effective, efficient, optimal land stewardship. 31, urge that land acquisition and compensation follow due processes. Then 32, urge that compensation valuation should be handled by estate surveyors and valuers, and they should be engaged directly by the acquiring authority. 33, adopt the reviewed 2024 compensation assessment rates for crops and economic trees. 24, urge the federal government to hasten up actions on the validation of the draft national land policy. This is the communique issued at Abuja on Thursday, the 24th of October, 2024. Thank you.
Adoption.
Okay, adoption. No, I'm not finished. That's why I came back.
No, before the vote was
Okay, I know.
the question of adoption, if somebody adopt and second.
As what? How will they say?
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the communique has been read. We are now calling for adoption. Please move motion for the adoption and seconder. Just for the purpose of secretariat. From the participants.
observations first.
Is there any observation? I thought you have a...
I do not have observations. I'm sorry, please. Please, observations. Okay.
Okay, spread it to the screen. The number. Call the number.
Oh,
You put Kogi State under Southern State on those that benefited from RAMP. So Kogi State is in the Northern State.
okay, sorry. Number 23. Noted.
I think you have not.
Noted.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Next.
Olufisare Ogunbi is my name. Under the, I can't recall the specific items, but you said compensation, the rate for compensation is obsolete, which we all agree. Then the latter part you said the review should be adopted. I think the two should go together instead of separating it. Okay. One is obsolete, then the next action should be the review should be adopted. Thank you very much.
Which number?
Yes, number 21. The rates for assessment of compensation are obsolete. So 21 and 33 should be merged. And okay, thank you.
Okay, and further to that, I think that there are so many points on compensation which have already been taken care of. The adoption of the compensation rates by the what we did on Monday, MPDF. So those numerous points I don't think ought to reoccur. Then secondly, from last year's communique, we have over 20 points, and by our run through, we have not done 1/3 of what we have in the communique. Our communiques over the years have been too many, and I think that we should cut down even this communique here. There are too many points that are repeated. Secondly, this is a forum of directors of lands in the federal and state ministries and agencies. Some of the points in our communique are not within our purview. Which ought not to be. Communiques are things we have agreed to do within 1 year. Within this period, next year we will come back. And who knows, it is going to be, our discussion is going to be on equitable land stewardship. It may not be. So what can we do between now and next year when we come back? And it should be things that are within our purview to do. Take, for example, last year's communique. One of the points was on birth control. To advocate for birth control as a means of control. That is not within our purview. We have as one of our points advocate for women's rights. What we want to advocate for is not within our purview. They are traditional and customary matters. We can't change our customs. We can't change our tradition. So we should look at points that are within our purview, which we can actually make effort and make changes. Thank you.
So should we read it and then they will say yes?
I think as regard to the point you raised, some points in the communique are just for nothing. Some are actions. So don't mind the number of resolutions itemized. Some just for nothing. The few ones that are for action, the actionable point, that's the one you're concerned about.
It's a concern that year after year we will come, spend time, deliberate over issues, and then we give ourselves things to do within a period which we are not able to do 1/10. it doesn't show that we are succeeding in our various offices. So we should cut down on these things and separate them. The actionable ones, the ones to be noted, they all should not bulk up to form a communique, so that we pick up our communicate from time to time. What have we done? Look at what the minister asked. Between last year and this year, what have we been able to do from our last conference? And it doesn't show that we are a serious-minded people. And it only shows that we are failing, which is not exactly the true position of things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I share your thoughts and I share your pains because you meant well. You will agree with me. All these things were derived from the recommendation from speakers in its entirety. Yes, if it is 5 of this we can do, we don't have issues with that. You talked about women's rights, and I shared it with you. From what we have globally, women's rights and resilience. And thank God we heard what they have shared with us here, where some communities couldn't allow women to have land. We laughed at it. It may be like a mere joke or whatever it is. It sent messages. Be that as it may, I read the vision and direction for a 5-year plan to you. From the remark that we were given and we make presentation in Hiroshima. And I can tell you, a mission from World Bank, they are coming to Nigeria on the 18th of next month. That should be our drive. All these things I told you that we have put here, other 31,000, we have collapsed them into 4 pillars. I read it to us. I may not share it in the immediate because it's still a working document. But we have a platform where we can as well speak to ourselves there. Unfortunately, many of us don't make the platform active. We go there and challenge ourselves. I agree with you, we shared some thoughts together, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Whatever you have taken from here, let it be a national standard that you can impress it on your state administrators. This is what I've learned. This is the way the world is going about land administration in sub-Saharan African countries. When we're looking at land matter, we're not looking about Nigeria. We are looking at sub-Saharan African countries. On the basis we made presentation, and we are building up a template. So we should not be discouraged, but we should be sober that we are not where we are, but we can get there. We are coming to your states in a short while. Lobby to be visited. We are trying to pick about 6 states across the country in a geopolitical zone. Just the way we have been able to annex ourselves, looking at the review of compensation rate. When they are coming, we give you the information. You come there, air your view, let them know. Because we are developing a template. That's to do with the issue of cadastral, land administration, title, and the rest. You can see the register of title federal is here. Same thing with the director of cadastral, he left. So that you can have a close, knitted relationship to drive land administration. We can vex here and go. We have not solved a problem, but We are taking one thing away from here. I will do my best. No matter the political strength. Either they encourage you or they discourage you, you have done your own. And I know I shared with you in the morning here. I can resign by myself. I'm not working again. And I go and do my private practice. Please, I encourage us. Let's deliver this project. The World Bank, they are here. African Development Bank, they came to help us. They are not here on this program. And also of them have been coming to ask where they can intervene. NMRC you saw came here. They've been battling over the years. I share the things here like a joke, but it's real. And that's why they are driving the land, the housing data issue, and the mapping. That's why we brought two young gentlemen here to listen to them so that we can compare notes. At this stage, we should be feeding ourselves and comparing notes. Ekiti, Ondo, Edo, Lagos. What have you done? Let me go and report to my governor. They're making money there. And I told you, if I didn't take anything from Hiroshima in Japan, I take one thing. What did I take? The man told us he's coming to Nigeria. You see him next month. There is money in land. There is money in building. Get capacity developed. Get infrastructure developed so that your governors can be happy with you. That should be the mandate. It's not for you to come to work one day and go and say, I've done my own. No. What did you contribute? Like from our ministry department, pattern have changed. Bring your ideas. Let's compare notes. Let's move forward. As the minister dragged me, I dragged the World Bank. I dragged my officers. You can see them. So it's statistic. Please, let us be encouraged. There is good in land administration. All the clocks, let's remove it. Interest and the rest. And we see that we will enjoy it. Please, I encourage you, wherever or whatever that is not directly connected to us, it shouldn't be an issue. But the one that is connected to you, have you been able to do it and established it? All of them, 10 countries were invited to Japan. All over the world, 10 countries, including Nigeria. 4 countries, we look at their models. Somebody was talking about land readjustment. It's a policy in Japan that they use in building their cities back. What is our distress in Nigeria? Fragmentation. How do we build Nigeria land system? Like Japan did, having suffered atomic bomb in 1945. Within 3 years, they told us they were able to build their country back. Enacting good policies. How do we achieve that in Nigeria? With our fragmentation of holding onto land. Land that will outlive us. You want to die before the land dies. It's unacceptable. We should have a change attitude. It's culture, it's tradition. We will die, the tradition will still be there. And we improvise our people. Let's connect to the world. and let's move land administration forward. If it fails, we all fail. Lagos is a good testimony. It's a minute or a small unit. They want you as states to connect to one another. Then they can measure our performance as far as land administration is concerned. This is where we are. By May next year, we are going back to Washington, D.C. They will ask us, what have we done from what we have learned? The windows are open for all of us to excel and to succeed. How are you measuring your own? Is it to come and question at the end of the month? 35 years you have retired. Nothing to show for it. I beg us, please. I pray and I believe with what has transpired in the last 4 days, we should have a changed attitude. I can tell you when you have your challenges, even with your governor, let us know how we can intervene. Why yet we didn't make issues whereby they begin to mark you as sold out. This is where we are going. We have to connect one to another, then we can succeed as land administrators. If there are other things to be said, maybe I'll leave it to the master of ceremony. Thank you very much. The controller.
Why the mic?
Yeah, thank you very much. I won't belabor this issue of what a communique should be and what it should not be. But the truth of the matter is that a communique is a statement of all the representations and presentations of the gathering. It doesn't need to be what is within our capacity or not. I've had privileges of being a rapporteur in so many African countries and outside. For customs, for Ministry of Education, we have been the legal advisors. So I've had the opportunity. What we are to do with the communique is what have we been able to assemble together? And then if you now go to the next stage, either the commissioners or ministers, it goes to the next stage, which is the NEC or FEC. That's how it is. We need to gather all our thoughts together and present it. But then I'm more particular about last year communique, which we all agreed that we have not been able to achieve substantial part of it. What do we do with it? Do we incorporate it into this present one? Because that's an issue we have left untouched. Do we somersault it into the present one so that everything can continuously move together? Or we jettison it, we abandon it, and we only focus on the communique of 2024? What do we do with the one that has not been done? Are we not supposed to incorporate it? The chairman of the planning committee. So I want to know what you want to do with it. Last year communique. And we will have to give you an idea what you should know what should be done with it. You can't abandon it because you have not achieved it, you want to leave it. No, you can't do that. That's not the way it is done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please, I just want to speak about the platform that you were talking about, sir. Do we have existing platform for director? We are creating another one because there are some people that are not part of the platform. So that is.
We have a platform for all directors of lands. through the National Technical Development Forum on Land Administration. And that's why I complained that we have not been feeding that forum well, which is a minus. It's meant for our education and information. So I want to believe that that answers that. And coming back to the reflection of the Registrar of Title and Director of Legal Services about the need and what we can do with the resolution of 2023. We're ready to our hearing that which we have been able to do, and we have taken note of what has not been done. It's going to be like a footnote. This has been done, this has not been done. And I've tried to explain. The one we have not been able to do, we itemize them. You will have them in your communique, because that is what the management of ministry is asking. So it's deeply noted. You have the communique in your respective emails. So I think that answers that. Thank you very much.
Now, our distinguished participants, we are now calling for a motion for the adoption of the communique as amended. Mike there. Your name, designation, and the state you come from. Are you moving a motion? Why the mic?
I, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Augustine Uchibe, Director of Lands, Abia State, having deliberated over 2 days, I hereby move for the adoption of the communique read out as amended. And I so move.
Seconder? Seconder? We need a seconder for record purpose. Participants? Seconder? Your name, designation, and the state you came from?
My name is Alaji Abraham Wab, Director of Land Kwara State. In absence of any other amendment, I move motion for adoption of all the communiques. I seconded the motion for communique.
Now, the 2024 communique for the Conference of Directors of Land in the Federal and the States is hereby adopted, sealed, and delivered. Congratulations. We now call for the vote of thanks from the head of Secretariat Planning Committee.
Good evening, everyone. Distinguished guests, esteemed delegates, and respected colleagues, I wish to extend my profound gratitude to all our participants as we come to the close of this event. It is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks for the 29th Conference of Directors of Lands in the federal, states, and state ministries, departments, and agencies. Over these couple of days, we have engaged in fruitful discussions, shared invaluable insights, and formed meaningful connections aimed at advancing land stewardship. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the speakers and presenters for sharing from their wealth of knowledge and experiences. A special thanks first is to my Honorable Minister, to our permanent secretary and my dedicated director of lands and housing for making this conference a reality. They made it possible for us to be gathered here. Then I wish to especially thank the organizing committee. I want to call their names because they made everything easy for us. Mrs. Noni Okolo, Mr. Uche Una Kalamba, and Mr. Israel Adelani. Thank you for making this work easy for me. Then for their tireless efforts to ensure that this conference was very, very smooth. Then to all our dear delegates, we want to say thank you for your active participation. I'm not forgetting the secretariat. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Yes, I'm going to, okay. Director of Press, thank you. You've been with us for these 4 days, and we are very, very grateful. For everyone here, our participants, we are indeed grateful. So through your engagements in this conference, we are able to have a very impactful deliberation, and we are indeed grateful. Thank you, and we pray that you have a wonderful and safe trip back home to your families. Thank you for everything. God bless you. I am Estate Surveyor and Valuer Alice Valentino Bishen. I am the chairperson planning committee. Thank you. It's time for dance, 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 since you people are traveling back tomorrow.